Hello, my name's Sue Hudd. I'm a psychic clairvoyant and medium. This is my predictions for 2021. Please do share, like, and subscribe. Thank you. If you'd like to have a private one-to-one reading with myself, please do go to my website, which is ukclairvoyant.com. Wow, is this going to be the most interesting year of your life? I know I'm here to do January first of all, but let's have a look at the whole year. Some of the things that I tell you will be instigated this year, but may not fully manifest for about a 3-year period. But it's all what's going to be started this year, as it is so important. This is truly life-changing. Now, I will be talking about finances and health and that. And remember, I do not specialize in these areas. So please make sure that you take the correct advice. This is just for guidance purposes only. I'm not trained in anything. And the reason I'm saying this, the first thing that I have to look at is finances. Now, we are going into the new quantum financial system, so everything is going to change. It's going to seem like a brand new experience for everybody. But before we go further, we need to look at the cryptocurrency. I would have almost betted here that XRP, it was going to be a certainty. But this is about doing things here properly and doing things by the book. And the first thing they do is not do things here properly. So now they've got a bit of a hiccup. So be very wary if you're investing in them just for this moment in time. Yes, they do save themselves, they do bring out the cavalry and everything becomes okay, but it's enough in this volatile changes when anything is possible that they are going to go through a bit of a hit. So that's for not getting things done properly and doing things properly. Yes, by the late spring, everything will be back on track and there is a good lot of energy coming in with them. But for those of you that like to go out and earn and make sure that you're getting profit and that immediately, they've got here a little bit of a clip around the arrow to do with. But this is a funny old year. And I mean strange when it comes to the cryptocurrency. Everybody's talking about, how great it's going to be and how Bitcoin and that is going to be doing so absolutely fabulous. But there is a little bit of a hitch or something here that has been stressing me while I've been tuning into this. And that's because there is going to be a lot of excess and extra Bitcoins that are going to be available, which is actually going to suddenly change the market. And this could bring in a sudden drop. Okay, yes, everybody's going to want them because they're going to feel that they get a bargain. But this could mean that business people, people in high positions who have already bought a lot, maybe there is some kind of investigation or something going on with their companies to do with their taxes and finances. But all of a sudden, assets are being withheld and then they're going to be auctioned off and sold. So there's going to be this excess money to do with Bitcoin and other currencies, top currencies and that. And there will be this available, including gold, and that's going to make it a little bit shaky. So I'm sort of looking at things during this month of being a little bit more cautious and just sort of protecting myself a little bit more when I come to the cryptocurrency. And waiting until we get past March, because March here is where it's going to be the biggest auctions that we've ever seen. It's certainly going to be a buy time, not just with cryptocurrency, with everything. It means that house prices are going to be dropping. There's going to be great business opportunities and everything seems to be beginning to sprout up. So it's sort of keeping an eye on things and doing things with knowledge. You have to have knowledge to back you. I'm still going to put my head out there on a book and say that Polkadot is going to be the big talking place and could come up into sort of like third, fourth position in the 100 ranking tables. There's a lot coming in with this. We've also got Band and Uni. They're all ones that are seem to be going to be doing well. Remember, please do your own homework and take your own advice. Now, the dollar is going to fluctuate quite a bit, but then all of the currencies are anyway. So, this is something that we're going to be looking at. A currency that everybody can handle and everybody can deal with. So you've got to make things here a lot more simply when it comes to the cryptocurrency if you want this to be the main currency of the world. People that are not so techno savvy, and even though we'll have every opportunity to become brilliant at it, no matter how bad we are, over the next 12 months, because of the way that technology is going to try to simplify itself. But what it forgets is that sometimes when it says this is simpler, it's simpler because you already understand the old school technology. But you have to now start thinking about people that don't have that same technology, who have no idea at all. And so for them, it's like a massive complication. So you're going to have to make the currency and the way that you do it far easier if you want to be the number one company, or the one that everybody finds is the best way. And it's obviously going to be the most popular. Between January and March, we will figure that out. So good luck with all your savings. And I wouldn't bother saving in the banks, because the banks are not going to do anybody any good this year. There is going to be great job losses. There's going to be less banks all across the world. We're not going to be using them in the same way at all. And to be honest, they're in for a good spanking. There are going to be so many law changes, particularly when we go over to common law. There is going to be so many law changes that come in that people will find other ways of investing and other ways of using their security in their life. And it won't be the banks, because the banks are all this year about charging you. You'll be charged for everything now, and everything will be in a percentage. So it's not going to be, oh, you've only got X amount. It's going to be just a percentage, and it's going to be on a daily basis. So we've got a lot more hard lessons when it comes to banking time. So they're just trying to make everything, as they say, easier, but it doesn't. It becomes more intense, and you end up getting less if we continue on letting the banks. But we've got the UK in particular. Those that are in charge of making the rules and regulations around the bankings and that will find that their contracts and their jobs will be axed. They will be all going. We've got a lot of political changes coming in anyway. You'll see the people that have been easier controlled. So Boris Johnson, I'm sorry to say that January is going to be the worst year of your life, and you could even lose your job during January. We're going to be looking at here of how other countries and other people tend to bully you, tend to tell you what you should be thinking and doing. So we're sort of going to see here a lot of political heads that end up falling, losing their jobs here. So Boris, I'm sorry to say that even if you think your own party are backing you, they're absolutely not. It's almost like this bullying is pushing us and saying, no matter what, we've got to stay in the EU. And every deal has got to be about what favours the EU. But as if you've been listening, and I don't know if you've been doing your homework at all, but you should have been, I've seen that all the fraudulent voting and voting acts that have been going on in America, well, this has already happened here in many other countries, and it did happen with the Brexit vote. And this is about knowledge and information that's going to be coming out during the month of January. So this is why I keep saying this is going to be a jaw-dropping, can't speak now, month, where you're going to hear things that you're going to say, this is not true. And they actually believe that over 80% of the population in the UK voted to leave. But the EU said, no, we can't leave. We are still paying. You are going to pay, and it's all about the finances. And so they thought that Boris was the best person to put him, because they could easily then control him. And that's what they've been doing, pulling all the strings. So it's coming now to D-Day. So it had to be that it had to be up to the line or the last minute before there was any kind of deal. And so that's what we're doing, or that's what's going to be happening. And then it's going to be ridiculous, and the deal is not going to benefit. And so it doesn't benefit the people. But this 2021 is about people. It is about people power. And no matter what deal we make, I'm telling you now what has been given to me, that within a maximum of an 18-month period from now, the EU will not exist. So all those people that are backing it at this moment, you will find very early, through a French Prime Minister losing his job and a new one coming in, that they will already start withdrawing from the EU. You will find Spain and Italy and Germany, they will all be backing back. And the strangest thing about it is Ireland will be taking over a temporary position in the EU. And this is going to cause a little bit of battlegrounds or disagreements and that, because Scotland thought that they were going to be in line. Now, you do have to be very careful with what's going to be going on with Scotland, because when you back the EU and then it no longer exists, what comes next? So this is sort of like a weird scenario. And then when we look at this and we see all the craziness that's going on with the political side, we have to look at America first. So we have to look to see what's going on, because all the things that are going on there will end up having a knock-on effect around the world. So we're all just going to be one step behind, good, bad, and indifferent. This is about, and this 2020 was about unfolding the truth, showing you what's there. But then you have to take it on board. And a lot of the truth just seems too good to be true. It seems too, wow, this cannot be possible. Human beings could not behave in this way. And it's all going to seem like that. So it is going to seem like a really mad and crazy time. But remember, we've now opened our energies. We've opened our spiritual energies. So we are now absorbing and seeing the truth. The most extraordinary, amazing thing that's going to happen, we're going to be given the absolute old-fashioned documentation and paperwork that has been in storage for a long time about how we built things, how we built the pyramids, what's the point in Stonehenge, what's it all about in these sacred sites. And we're not going to see that it took them hundreds of years to build it. We're going to see how quickly they do it. And it's like it's going to be a space year as well, where it's not so much about us going up into space, because we're going to be able to, by our minds, be able to bend space. Just like when we say, what about unidentified flying objects and things coming? How do they get here? And it's not the way that we're doing it, by getting in a craft and trying to get up through the atmospheres, because that's not how you do it. It is about bending things. So everything in life now is going to be bending. You're going to think I've truly lost the plot tonight. And I think the same when I listen to what I'm saying here. But I hope this is not making things here seem too out there and far out there for you. Anyway, back to the United States. I think a lot of the time we sort of get an image of things by the news, exactly what we see. Now, I'm sorry for all you Texans out there, but I've never sort of thought of you as the most peaceful place. I would have thought of Sweden or other countries like that. But actually, it's going to become one of the most significant and most important places. They are going to be the first state, and they're not going to believe it when I'm telling them now, that end up putting their arms down. They want it to be a peaceful place and not to be about arms and killing people and going to war. And they will use their guns just for target practice or doing that type of thing. And as the generations move on, it will just be completely free from weapons. And this will come through an incident that is done with a child. And whether this is just as something that I see or whether it's something actually that happens. So I'm not really sure which way this is, but all I see here is a child with a gun that's shooting it and spraying it around and shooting people just randomly. And then people stopping and say, oh, but that's a child. That's like a 3 or 4 year old child. And so is that something that is happening, or is this real or not? And do we shoot a child? Because it is a child and it's just got hold of something, which is a weapon, which to that child is a toy. So it's people are beginning to wake up and actually think about what is going on. So it may sound like at this moment that everything in this world is political, but between now and the March time, it is going to be. So when Trump is back in, everything then begins the natural process of bringing in new laws and fairness throughout the world. We will see a complete and utter change, which is going to be the great thing. I keep saying to you, and I've said to you for quite some time now, that Mother Nature hasn't done her bit yet, that she's still doing it. And she has put us through some real serious winds and some cold weather and you know, a lot of floods and all sorts of things. But this is just the beginning. It's her warming up. And we've still got all that to come. She is going to increase our land. She is going to take away and break countries up into little islands. So there is going to be still a lot of movement. So I'm expecting, particularly during the month of January, a lot of earthquakes, volcano eruptions, bad storms and weathers, tsunamis, little things. It's a detoxing, but it gives us the opportunity to help out, to save. And that's what this world begins. It's how we can look after somebody else and do something good to give a better lifestyle. We also get next year pure water, good old fashioned water again. So, not full of all these chemicals and that make us sluggish and slow us down. We start breaking through that. This is one of the things that are going to take a 3 year process to be able to clear it all out and to get it working and working better. It's the seeds of life. So even as soon as January, we will then plant new seeds. There will be new creations. So babies, there's all sorts of here beginnings of great relationships. So you'll be with the perfect person who's going to help you on this journey. So January will bring in upsets in relationships to put you back in line or put you in line with a great relationship, somebody who will go on this spiritual journey with you. And as this is all about what is next for us, this is going to make it an exciting part. So January, bit of draw dropping, bit of changeable weather, not what we're expecting, currencies being bounced around, political truths coming out that you won't believe your ears or your eyes, but you need to. Then you'll find that mainstream TVs and that bosses change, and that goes into the February time. And then there will be prime ministers, and that they all stop dropping off all around the world. Different leaders, different people with a different agenda and different approach, where it does bring in a goodness and a calmness. Because I've already said to you, this is the end of the war. This is still the verbal war of everybody seem to be blaming or wanting to blame everybody. But this is about healing and repairing. So we all have to start healing, forgiving, sharing, getting in contact with our relatives. And all this will happen January and February time. They will come out of the woodwork, which will make us feel really good. Now, exciting businesses, well, we already know because I've been screaming about it now since right back in June about technology and the small companies that are going to be coming up with their amazing ideas. But certainly by February, we will see the genuine backing up for the support here to build a business. I've always said to you that the UK is going to be very self-sufficient. It's going to provide and have all their own stuff, and you will truly see the backing, which is really good. And that's going to irritate a lot of other countries who wanted still to get to be prioritized and wanted still to have all our assets first or all our stuff. But we're going to be looking after ourselves. Remember, we are taking after America, where America says America first, and we'll be saying at long last UK first. Let's give our own a shot, because you have to remember that during the early part of February time, there's going to be still a lot more job losses and businesses and that are really struggling. But this is going to change, because the small businesses are going to be coming back, because the big businesses where you get the Amazons and the big, huge companies and that are going to be taken back to their roots and brought back and said, you know something, you can't own all of this. We can't depend on you for all of this. So we're now going to be supporting the small business to be able to start on doing similar type of thing. And this is what's going to happen, so that you can now go and get televisions from loads of shops rather than just one shop where the price is fixed through every single shop that sells it, so that you do have the opportunity to get a deal. So all this fixing and that is gonna stop or be prevented. So just be a little bit wary. If you are a big business and you think that you're going to capitalize by taking over the world or doing everything, it's not going to work, because the new laws and the new rules that we bring in will give everybody the same equal shot. And if you come into the UK, you will end up having to pay some form of tax or doing things in a tax way. So if you expect this person to pay, we expect this person to pay as well. But as eventually we're going to be abolishing all the tax system and stuff, well, I don't know where I'm going with all this, but bear with me. I tend to do blabble on a little bit, but just bear with me. It will make sense. Now you know why I've been avoiding trying to do the 12 months horoscopes and predictions and that for you. Okay, so let's take a little bit of a step back here. We've also got the dockyards that are going to do really well. There's going to be new sources of minerals and that we're going to uncover and find that the rest of the world are going to need them, because they're going to help. I don't understand all this, but electricity seems to be shooting through it quicker and faster. So it's going to help things begin to speed up. And so watch for those precious minerals and that to come from the earth, and people will start seeing it. And this is through inventions or people's inventions and that, which is great. So like I said, the boating industry is going to do well. We are going to have to be very careful, because France, naughty boys, there is going to be some kind of oil spillage and that, and it's typical. The winds are blowing our way. Now, I'm not sure if it means it's blowing our way because it's the weather conditions that are blowing it, but it seems to be affecting or will be affecting our fish. And it will make the water very, very toxin for a while. So we will have to be careful of our shores and what's going on there. And it just seems to be sort of like you think, well, how did that happen? That boat or whatever, that ship should never have been allowed in the water in that state. And there's a lot of questions here that I'm asking or seem to be asking about that. But as I said here, this is something that we have to just keep an eye on and be ready to protect our shores and our fish and our birds and our wildlife and that, because this oil spillage could set us back for a while. So, through new heads of the television network and the reality TV is going to come to an end. Yes. So we're going to get proper programs or nice programs. I'm sorry, I'm so opinionated today, but we're just going to see things here that are much better for us, educational wise. So you will find a lot of programs for children turn into proper educational programs. Schooling could even be done through the internet, and a lot of sort of those technology skills will make it much easier. There is going to be another virus or a virus that pops up, but people won't stand it the same. So it's no good them trying to bring in the same rules and regulations because people won't. They'll stand up for themselves. They've been confined and restricted enough. I did say to you that there was going to be a lockdown over the Christmas period, and I did say it to you a little while ago, that they would take away something that was important to you. But anyway, this will then bring it to a close once and for all. So again, this is about doing your homework and seeing what's out there. But some of them, which I have forgotten or just being popped back into my head here, are some of the greatest and biggest peace rallies that we would have ever seen will be going on during the January time. So no matter how bad the weather is or what's going on, people will literally stand up for their rights or want to do things, but in the most peaceful way. Remember, if you take up arms and you do things in a violent way, it's only going to come back to bite you. This is karmic. And when it comes with karmic, then it's got to be not about aggression, and you can't do anything like that. There will be a fire in round a bedding or a settee in the heart of London, but because I can see bedding and furniture and beds, so it could be just a bed place. I don't know why that randomly came in. So maybe this is to do with a rally or something here that starts off, that somebody sets it off. But I'm saying to you, don't do that. Don't set back your karma. Actually keep moving forward, because we are, no matter how crazy this is actually on the right pathway. So they will be turning back and saying through change in the BBC and news channels and that people that have been promoting misinformation and false news and that will end up losing their jobs. And this comes in round about the March time because there's fresh faces, fresh programs. There's a lot of new exciting things here that seem to come in, and the TV is actually used for the best. Small independent companies are really going to do well. Whether it's to do with TV, radios, they're all going to be able to get licenses to be able to develop their skills, so it's easier to get out big news. There's going to be new channels like YouTube, Facebook, and all of those type of things. There's going to be new. There will be great opposition here that will give you a way of being able to speak out. There could be technology that crashes, and maybe it is through what Mother Nature does, or maybe it's just through here an overload. There seems to be here, and they're saying, giving me the word overload. So there's an overload of knowledge and information, and then it brings everything down, and then it gives these other platforms here a way of speaking, a way of coming back out. But nobody's job is safe this year. And no matter what field you're in, the building industry is going to do well, and this will be anybody and everybody will be taught and taught new skills to be able to help out. There will be freedom in around land. When you have land, it will be your land. It will be up to you what you do with it, as long as it doesn't block out somebody else's view or whatever. So if you want to build a house on your land, you will be able to. These new rules and laws will be coming in. And like I said, this seems like the most craziest thing you've ever seen. But this is because we get to see the genuine documentation of our truth, of what was our laws, and the people that took over power changed those laws to benefit them. And anybody who has done things for the mass, for the people, done things the wrong way, will see their comeuppance during this next 12 months. So this sounds like it's going to be quite a vicious, hard year, but it isn't, because it's fair and it gives everybody a chance of being good and honest and a perfectionist. The medical system is going to change beyond recognition. There will be so many alternative things that you can have and get done in a hospital that will be all under the NHS. A lot of it will be private, so they're bringing in the private system as well. So I would say 60, even 70% of it is going to come across like it's private. But then if it brings things in that are good for you, and then you can get the um, overall health and you're diagnosing and everything here free, then surely that's got to be good, or it's got to be good. But because everybody is treated in a fair minded, you won't be having people that are jumping the queue. Nobody is more important than the next person. So as a queue is exactly what it is. That person who goes to the front of the queue and you've earned your way, you don't get put back just because somebody can afford a bit more and they can go in front of you. It all changes and all changes next year. There will be some major court cases that go on this year that's to do with social services will be one area about how they've let people slip through the net, how children have been going to the wrong families and having a worse life, and so that they tighten up their information and the way they get their information, that it is based on truth and not on just what somebody says. So that's going to happen. You'll have the child abuse cases from all over the world that will be on your televisions all the time, flashing things out. So there's all going to be that as well. You've got house prices that really bottom out around the September time. So there's going to be a couple of little drops, and then during the September time, it drops down so that it seems to be very easy. It's much better with people's wages. There will be financial increases around the June period, so people will have a lot more money in their banks. Oh, doesn't it get better? It does. It really does get better. And the world, I promise you, will feel like a better place. And like I said, some of the things will be instigated and you'll know about it, but it will take a 3 year period before everybody knows how to handle things, and everything here is running much more smoothly, which is good. But you will have to get used to new currency. Don't forget the good old faithfuls, gold, silver, sterling silver, all of those things, white golds, and that are all going to be really increasing and doing really well. And finances will absolutely have something here to back them up. It all comes in here with new assets and that, which is good. So remember, anything metal is on the way up. Anything here, cement, building, new contracts, and that will be working itself up, not as fast as the metal energy, but building itself up. So you get that. Food will be going up. House prices will come down. Oil will be so blooming low that it's ridiculous. But then we're going into a time where we're not going to be paying our oil bills and gas and electricity and that. So there has to be dropping and dropping in the market and new ways here of getting finances. So I know I've covered a lot of things here, and I hope I haven't driven you too crazy. I wish you a wonderful new year. And if you're bold and brave and you're ready for excitement, then this is your year. If you're frightened of changes and that, they're going to happen anyway. So you might as well find out about the changes and listen and spread your energy more. If you are spiritual, and you all are, you absolutely all are, then learn how to develop those skills. Do things that make you feel amazed by your own sensitivity and what you have to give. This is a giving and sharing time, and you'll all be on board, no matter how crazy you think I am. And I will be filling you in with a lot more. Now, after I've done this little video here, I will have put up afterwards, I don't know, around about 30 or 40 predictions. Some I've covered, some I haven't, but I didn't really want to put too much passion behind some of the ones that I'd already had, particularly with the religious sides of, people getting rid of religion, coming back to a spirituality, all of those type of things. I just didn't want to put the passion behind it. So I put them in. I put the ones in because I did all of those back last October. And so I've just taken out the ones that have happened now, and we just left the rest in. So you can then just read them through and see them at a later date. So have a wonderful, exciting new year, and just feel free to know that this is your world and your time to have great joy and great success. And nobody out there is any better than you. My name is Sue Hudd. This is my predictions for 2021. Please do share, subscribe, and like me. Thank you. And if you would like to have a private one-to-one reading with myself, then do go to my website, ukclairvoyant.com, or go to my social media, which is just under Susan Hudd. Thank you. Happy New Year to you.